I'm going to throw this ball right back to Lagos. Chamberlain, Jamb says they're opening up the space. What do you think Prof's reaction to this will be?
And then I'm going to toss it to Prof. Yeah. She's also of the University of Lagos, and we heard Jamb say that University of Lagos, for instance, don't exhaust the carrying capacity, so bringing it down to 120 is helping schools such as University of Lagos. Is that correct?
In the first place, you see, we should be able, as adults, to try to convey facts. When it was 180, it was not 180 across board. 180 was only universities. Colleges of education and polytechnics was 160.
Even though that's not what Mr. Fabian says.
That is not what he said. It was 180 for universities, 160 for colleges of education and polytechnics. Number two, there is no admission that can go through without Jamb input. After all, it's Jamb that gives letter of admission. When the results are ready, they send the printout to universities. And with this stakeholders meeting, the universities will now determine what he meant by carrying capacity. Even if 1 million applied to my department and they scored 200 and above, and the carrying capacity of my department is 50, we cannot take more than 50.
Have you had a situation, though, where, as he mentioned, admissions are done, the cutoff mark is 180, but you have situations where people who score less than 180 still get into school?
It has never happened, to my knowledge, except maybe some private universities I don't know, or some colleges of education. But it's not to me and to a lot of people that I interact with at several levels. No, it has not happened. What he ought to have said is that some institutions, and that is mainly the private institutions, because they don't have enough candidates, because of the school fees, many parents are not able to pay the school fees. So they need candidates. If you did not choose them as your first choice, and you scored the minimum of 180, they will admit you.
But in federal institutions, as he said, there are cases where students are trying to regularize, that's the word he used, their admissions. Can you tell us more about that?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so.
There's been no issues of regularization.
Not
to the
knowledge of many of us. I don't think so. I don't think so. And you know, when he was quoting the 3,000 that came for regularization, he said it's a college of education. We should be able to differentiate issues when we are talking in public domain. Don't lump the wheat and the chaff together. They're not the same.
Now, you have got Jamb as a prerequisite to get into school, and you also have the IJMB, the Interim Joint Matriculation Board exam.
And you also have JUPEB.
You also have that. Now, if
those ones are direct entry, for direct entry students.
What does that mean?
Okay. If you did JUPEB, Joint University Preliminary Examination Board, if you took their exam, you are to come in at 200 level. IJMB, you also come in at 200 level. They're direct entry. They are not part of the cutoff of 180 group. Their own is, depending on the program, depending on the university, whether you score 10 points, 12 points. In fact, there was a case where, because of carrying capacity in the University of Lagos last year, JUPEB candidates for medicine, I think they had 35 spaces for direct entry. And 85 students had perfect A's. Because of carrying capacity, you can only admit 30. And you have 85 that had all A's. What they now did was to do another exam for those 85 to be able to take. So when we are most often, the only places you can say that they don't usually meet their quota is mainly in education, because nobody wants the child to read education.
So what if they lower the cut-off mark? Will they
No. They don't even lower the marks. They don't even lower the marks. The only thing that happens is that they now have what we call change of course in the universities.
To enable them access
so
education.
If you put in law, for instance, and you scored 250, and you couldn't make it, and the cutoff mark for a particular course in education is maybe 230 or 240, and they still have vacancy, you can then do the change of course.
Yeah,
is that a kind of regularization?
That is not regularization.
No. They never still go below 200.
No.
Yeah, we are going to those. But, so, Mark, there goes your response about the carrying capacity and whether or not it's been exhausted.
Well, it looks like we have just a minute before we go on break. But just, you know, responding to Prof, of course, she says that she's not aware of any situation where schools have to come and regularize, you know, admission of students.
Yeah. You see, some of these comments are the problem we have in the country today. As a nation, if we want to move ahead, we must tell our people the truth. We must say things the way they are. Let us not argue to win. First, it is wrong for Prof to say that last year the cutoff point for colleges of education was 160. I'm in a better position to tell her how we arrived at that. At the stakeholder meeting, at the policy meeting, it was 180. When we got to Owerri for the second technical meeting, and we discovered that the other tiers were not admitting, they were not having candidate, we decided to introduce what we call a flexible cutoff point for them. That was when we lowered it from 180 to 160 at Owerri, at a technical meeting in Owerri.